My last daily driver laptop was one of the best I've ever bought. Once some keyboard shenanigans were settled after 3 months of trying to repair the thing, it worked pretty well. That was the Dell G3. It has a GTX 1660, 16 gigs of RAM, 500 gig M.2 storage, and an Intel i7 9750H for $800 United States dollars. It has 3 main issues though. First, it is randomly loud. Idle, it remains quiet, then it cranks the fans up to full blast for no apparent reason. Of course, whenever I need the fans to go at full throttle, it doesn't ever get warm. Gotta love very convenient inconveniences. Second, it has a very small battery life. It only holds a charge for like an hour and a half, and it used to only hold a charge for 3 hours at most, so I doubt it was completely because of the battery degrading, but that does not help. Third, due to these limitations, it functions more as a mobile desktop rather than a laptop since I have to carry the chunky power supply everywhere. For the mobile desktop role, it works beautifully. For the laptop role, it leaves a lot to be desired. So it was time to get a laptop, but I did not want to waste money on having to constantly get new ones for when the parts either break or need to be upgraded. In lieu of these needs, I bought the Framework laptop. Not just content to get a new laptop and to save on money, I got myself the DIY edition and put it together. Also, since I was not content, I used this opportunity as an excuse to save about $100 and jump into the realm of Linux. Also not content to go through the absolutely abysmal time with Linux and only me knowing about it, I decided to make a review for both, which you're now watching. We'll start with the laptop. The Framework laptop has had about a year's time to get initial kinks out of its system. This is the very popular right-to-repair laptop currently on the market. While that topic is quite heated, it's not a video about right to repair. This is a video about the Framework experience. First things first is to actually assemble the laptop. And please note the following. First, this was recorded around a month ago from writing this video. I had the camera on the table I was working on. Big mistake. Because of this, the camera constantly shakes whenever I put stuff down. That's what I get for being used to the magical world of Halo Machinima where the laws of physics do not apply. Second, I'm censoring my skin, privacy reasons. And third, the gloves I used basically did not work, so most actual installing of parts is omitted. Fourth, the assembly was without notes and unscripted. So... would it be applicable for me to use a shot on iPhone meme right now? So it comes with 3 boxes. One of them is the charger, which I've already unboxed. Second is this package right here, and I've already dug into this, which contains what we'll need: the hard drive, the RAM, and the Wi-Fi module. It also comes with whatever I/O you order, and which I already have unboxed. And now for the big one, the Framework laptop itself, which while I have unboxed, and taking a look, I have actually not gone further than that. And getting these with gloves is a lot. There we go. So, we have ourselves the Framework laptop right here. It's a lot smaller than I was expecting. You know, I'm only probably gonna get one camera angle because I'm not used to shooting with in real life. What's this? Stickers. Doing things in gloves is a lot harder than it looks. Crap. So this is the warranty information. Oh, and this is also instructions on how to unscrew it. So, no, this is also like a I/O information. So, put that there. Move this box out of the way. It comes with the main tool, the only tool that you'll need to disassemble this thing. So let's for step one is actually disassemble it. Which is this yes, this is a screwdriver, but it has an interchangeable bit. Let's see if we can flip it. Yep. Sweet. So I'm gonna have to like take my time. Alrighty, so let's unscrew all of these. No, it's supposed to come out. What the heck? And why is... these gloves? Who knew unscrewing stuff would be this much of a, not hindrance, but more like a nuisance? So we do that. Do that. Okay. Now that those are undone, flip it over. Set that down. Open this up. Okay. This part I'm probably gonna have to take off my gloves, so. All right, so we got the keyboard undone, kind of. And I moved the hinge back because this thing was reflecting my face, and that wire right there popped out, so kind of scared. This first time I've ever actually put any computer parts together. So for our hard drive, we're gonna be using, oh, it's a gaming drive. Oh, that's sweet. We're gonna be using the, what's this called? SN750, 1 terabyte, 3430 megabyte per second read and write. So let's get that out of the box. Once again, I need my fingers. Fingers, more like scissors. I'll be right back. If I ever do one of these kinds of videos, whoa, shoot, I forgot the mic. If I do one of these videos ever again, I am definitely getting myself some black latex, because my gloves that I have here are very hard to work with. So there we go. Remember a guy like Linus Tech Tips saying that it's harder to do, it's twice as hard to do the same thing on camera?
Yeah. Basically everything is twice as hard on camera as it is.
Yeah, and takes 3 times as long.
He wasn't lying. One moment, please. So we got it out with the called movie magic. So crap. It's only like single-sided storage. Yes, it is. It's only single-sided storage. Okay, that's something good to know. So now we install it by putting this aside, taking the screw that's right here, unscrewing it. Oh yeah, and they actually have spare screws right here. I remember that being mentioned. Different color though. So don't ruin the trace, don't ruin the trace. Oh shoot, it actually stuck on. Hold on. It won't focus in, but. So we set that there. The NVMe SSD. Then we slot it in. I said slot it in. Ah, look, movie magic, it's in. Yeah, I am definitely going to have to get latex gloves if I ever do this again, because this is not going well. Or it's going well the second I take off, the second I take off my gloves. Then it's smooth sailing. Beforehand though, not so much. So now we down and And tighten. Just for it to be snug. Give it a little wiggle. Okay, next up, what should we do? Probably the RAM. So I got 2 sticks of Sodom 3200 megahertz RAM, which I didn't know this about Sodom RAM. Look how tiny it is. I didn't know that. Stick Numero Uno. We'll go right to, let's see, which one we want to do? Left? Let's do left first. So, any screws? No. More movie. So yeah, movie magic. I'm sorry, it's just these gloves. Not good to work with computers. But now we do what's gonna scare me. Just press. Carefully press. Okay. Okay, that is a lot scarier than I thought it was going to be. Alright, now for the Wi-Fi module, I am absolutely going to have to cut this because, if you're wondering what Wi-Fi module we used, though, it was just an Intel Wi-Fi module. But I'm definitely going to have to cut this because, or do it with my regular hands because, like, look how tiny this thing is. This is crazy. Okay. Well, everything was nearly painless until that Wi-Fi module I had to install. So what I ended up having to do, and I could not have done it with gloves. Absolutely not. No way I was going to be able to do that with gloves. So what I had to do was use... Basically how the cable management works for this is you got to get a wire through here and underneath this thing. And whenever I'd position the wire one way, it would pop out the other. So if I like push this down, it would pop out here. And if it popped out, or if I pushed this down, it would pop out here. So I basically had to like use my mouth to hold this as a wedge. And then thank goodness this is magnetic. Use this as the screwdriver to at least get it started while everything was lined up perfectly. So point of contention for first impressions of the framework. That is a pain to install. Granted, I don't have the experience of, oh crap. This better go down. All right, fix the issue. It's just because I needed to set this thing to 120 degrees, I had it at 180 so it wouldn't reflect me. But this got fixed by setting this thing to 120. Can't even think. All right, let's put this thing back together. Well, it's already in one piece. Now it's in one piece. So how do I do this? So I fold it like that. Oh, that's magnetic. Sweet. Okay then, so now we close this up. Flip it over. And then screw it back in. All right, and now for the second to last step, installing the I/O. Now, one of the, I don't know if it's a gimmick, but one of the features of the framework is modular I/O slots. They come in these little cardboard boxes. This one's for a USB Type A. And you get to install what kind of I/O you want. Presumably via Thunderbolt, but at least USB Type 3. Type 3 meant Type C. Whoops. Now, if I remember correctly, the way you do it is just like so. Okay, let me get my second. Very easy to install. This is probably going to be the painless part of it. Crap. USB. Okay, now for a USB Type-C. Now, Framework recommends for you to get at least one USB Type-C so you can charge it, because trying to get to the regular internal ones here are what you call a pain, their standards. So we will be doing like so. And for the sake of configuring, you could also buy storage space, and I bought a terabyte hard drive. Why? Because you can never have too much storage. I would know. My internet is not good for having cloud stuff. That's what it looks like. Just a flat storage drive. And that's it. I'm gonna get the OS installed.
So how's the laptop itself? It is really wonderful. The customizable I/O that allows for USB-A and C, DisplayPort, storage, SD card readers, and HDMI is a wonderful feature of this laptop. The keyboard is nice to type on, it has an 8-hour battery life, hardware switches for the camera and microphone so I don't have to use the good old reliable tape and paper. The BIOS leaves a little bit to be desired for ease of navigation though, like finding the secure boot setting.
In the business, we call this foreshadowing.
The screen isn't plastic, it's like a glass synthetic hybrid. I can't describe it all that well. The only point of contention with the laptop itself is the pain-in-the-butt Wi-Fi module. But I've heard that this Wi-Fi module is much easier to work with than others, so take that as you will. So once you built your PC, or in this case laptop, you are now ready to install the operating system. With this laptop, I decided to start dabbling in the technical minefield of Linux. And this is when stuff hits the fan. This is the part of the video where it goes from appreciating the laptop to ranting about the absolute dog crap time I've had with Linux. I am a new user to Linux. As such, I decided to look up some beginner-friendly distributions. To cover my bases for those who do not know, Linux is an operating system and distributions are versions of that operating system that people make. The technically correct copy pasta is now on screen, but that is all you need to know for right now. I was looking for a distribution that had a similar GUI to Windows, and that worked right out of the box. At this point, this is when people start recommending Ubuntu. I did not like the desktop environment of Ubuntu, so I settled for its cousin, Mint. Did you know that Mint actually boots with secure boot on? Just wanted to throw that trivia in for later. Anyway, I set up Mint and then realized it cannot connect to Wi-Fi. The issue was that Ubuntu-based distributions were having lots of trouble with the driver of the specific Wi-Fi card I bought with my Framework laptop. I was not the only one having this issue. You can look at Ubuntu can't connect to Wi-Fi on the Framework forums if I need to be vindicated. The short version of this escapade is that I could not get this thing to work. Drivers that weren't supposed to be in my system were there and not working. No command allowed me to fix the issue, and I had a terrible time trying to resolve this. Because of this, I decided to go from an Ubuntu-based distribution to one based on Arch, but still as easy to set up as Mint. This is where I settled for Manjaro. I tried booting up Manjaro, and this is a recreation of what happened. I loaded the Framework boot order only to find that it refuses to boot Manjaro. I ended up sacrificing 3 USBs and $30 to troubleshoot this issue. Eventually, I had found the secure boot option on my laptop, disabled it, and was able to launch Manjaro with the XFCE desktop environment. Try saying that 3 times. So now that I've actually got a working distribution of Linux, how is the Manjaro experience? It's pretty good in all honesty. It is stable, the drivers worked right out of the box, the UI package manager is awesome. I'm not afraid to use a command line, but I don't know what apps are available in Pacman, so having a library on the Manjaro website and in the UI package manager front end is very helpful in trying to install apps. There are two issues that I've had though while using Linux, not necessarily a Manjaro specific problem. The first is the awkward moment when an application that you want or need is not available in your package manager. I needed to use Eclipse for some Java coding. On Windows, it was simple as go to the Eclipse website and download the .exe. In Manjaro, the official repository does not have Eclipse. At this time, I did not know that other repositories existed in Manjaro, let alone how to access them. So since it was not available in the package manager, I decided to download it directly from the website. Boy, was that a mistake. I could download it and go into the source files to launch it since the desktop icon did not work. And lo and behold, it could not compile any code, even as something as simple as hello world. Then I eventually found Eclipse in Snapd. That version was outdated and refused to run, and I could not uninstall it. I had to reinstall Manjaro to be able to wipe it from my system. Eventually, I found Eclipse in AUR, downloaded that, and I was good to go. All of this took me a month to be able to troubleshoot. Luckily, this has been the only app I've had this level of issue with. Other apps I've installed have been working well. Except no, once I finished writing this part, I had another issue with an app called LibreWolf, which is basically just a fork of Firefox. The solution there was to download the bin version of LibreWolf instead of it modifying existing version of Firefox, and I just had to throw that in there. That was issue 1. Issue number 2 is the bigger and the more important one though. The sad black pill of the Linux community is the following. Linux is generally the worst option compared to Windows. Not because of its feature sets. Most Linux distributions have more features like package managers compared to Windows. It is not because of the efficiency of the command line. Genuinely, if you wanted to, you can neo-fetch in Windows 2. Behold, Arch users, the stuff of nightmares. It's not because of how Linux treats your data. Linux respects your privacy, and Windows sells you to the highest bidder, which is usually the United States government, that same government whose former head of the NSA and CIA said this about metadata, the kind of data that these companies collect on you.
Yeah, first of all, David's description of what you can do with metadata, and quoting a mutual friend, Stuart Baker, is absolutely correct. Okay, we kill people based on metadata.
No, the sad reality is that Windows is usually a better option because things are built for Windows. If I remember correctly, Windows has like 90% market share. For comparison, Linux desktops make up for around 2 to 3%. Because of this, I am not comfortable recommending Linux to everyone, especially gamers. I have been using Linux as an OS for working only, so I cannot comment on the gaming capabilities from personal experience. I have read and heard on the interwebs, however, that gaming can be quite a difficult challenge for Linux users. Compare that to Windows and things are 95% likely to work out of the box. What I can talk about with personal experience is trying to use the laptop away from my home. It's extremely hit or miss. As an example, the institution that I currently work at has security that requires a Microsoft account to log into the internet. The security of this institution assumes that you're using a Windows machine because, why not? Windows holds 90% market share. So when you try to sign in with credentials on a Linux machine, it attempts to connect, freaks out that it's a Linux machine, and then you get stuck in a perpetual loop trying to connect to the Wi-Fi. After I got very lucky and somehow established an internet connection, my package manager was blocked on the institution's internet. So much so that whenever I tried downloading anything, it would flag official repositories as not safe. Please note that downloading stuff through Pac-Man months prior was working fine. So, should you switch to Linux? I can only recommend the switch if what you use is natively supported. For me, that means my work laptop can run Linux with little issues, but my gaming PC will have to remain under the watch of the NSA. Gotta leave a window for the alphabet agencies if I want to play my games. Anyway, that is my review of the Framework laptop and first impressions of Linux. Thank you for watching and have a good night. That was loud.